Hi there, I'm David, and I'm here to talk to you about the temple to Apollo at Corinth. So, before we start talking about the temple in Corinth itself, we need to understand the importance of Apollo as a god. Apollo represents the ideal Koros. He's a young, beardless man with an athletic build. He's commonly portrayed with a wreath and branch of laurel, bow and quiver, raven, and lyre that was gifted to him by Hermes. Apollo is the son of Zeus and a woman named Leto. As soon as Zeus's wife, Hera, found out about Leto's pregnancy, she banned her from giving birth on the mainland. She found herself on the island of Delos when she gave birth to the twins of Apollo and his huntress sister Artemis. Apollo has been hailed as the god of prophecy and oracles, healing, plague, disease, archery, and the protection of the young. Many colonists prayed to Apollo for protection over their herds as well. As the leader of the Muses, he was also the god of music and poetry. As the god of music, many hymns were sung in Apollo's honor. These hymns were known as paeans, and they were often sung by soldiers when marching to battle or when victorious. Mythology has it that a satyr named Narcissus came across a dialos of Athena. A dialos is a two-pronged flute-like instrument. Marsyas challenged Apollo to a contest of musical skill, the winner being allowed to punish the loser in any way they wanted. After Apollo won the contest, he skinned Marsyas alive. Marsyas's dialis was then consecrated at the temple of Apollo at Corinth to honor the musical skill of Apollo. Inside the temple of Apollo, there had been a statue representing the god himself. It is more than likely that the standard religious rituals of the time were performed at this statue. These ceremonies included leaving deposits of food, drink, and precious items at the statue. It is also likely that there were sacrificial ceremonies performed at the temple as well. Being the god of prophecy, Apollo had many oracles spread throughout antiquity at his major temples. Obviously, the most popular oracle was located at Delphi, but there were oracles in many other cities as well. Apollo was known for trading the power of prophecy for sexual favors with beautiful women, especially in the case of Cassandra of Troy. Supposedly, the oracle at the Temple of Corinth was from the town of Tanea, and had been a prisoner taken from the Trojan War. She would later go on to be the lead prophet at the temple to Apollo in Corinth.
Around the time that the temple was built, many important events occurred within the Greek world and within Corinth itself. Rome was founded in the 8th century BC in 753 BC and began to colonize southern Italy throughout the rest of the 8th century and into the 7th century BC. During the Archaic period, Greek city-states began to colonize, creating colonies all over the world in North Africa, Spain, and the Black Sea region of Romania. Due to the increasing urban populations of Greek cities and the food shortages that it created, these colonies were necessary to find new food resources. Due to increased wealth and vast trade networks, Greek city-states began overthrowing their traditional hereditary priest kings. Corinth, one of the richest archaic polises, was one of the first to do this. During the 7th century BC in Corinth, Calypso became the first of the tyrants. Around 657 BC, he was the acron in charge of the military in Corinth, and with this position he was able to rise to power. From 658 to 628 BC, Calypso removed the Bacchaean aristocracy from power and ruled for 3 decades. He built temples to Apollo and Poseidon, and in 627 BC his son Periander became his successor and ruled into the 6th century BC. Periander was known for his creation of the Delicos, which was a system that allowed ships to portage as a shortcut when going from the Ionian Sea into the Aegean Sea, and allowed them to avoid dangerous seas. The revenue raised from this was able to allow Periander to abolish taxes for a period of time during his rule into the 6th century BC. In the western chamber of the temple, a foundation of a statue base was found. It's speculated that this could have been a statue to another deity, or of course Apollo himself. Some even said that it might be Apollo's sister, being some kind of double temple devoted to more than one deity, but no one will actually know due to just the base being found unless more is uncovered.
Hello, my name is Ricky Arnett, and I'm here to talk about the history and architecture of the Apollo Temple at Corinth. Deduced from bits of pottery found among the chippings left by a mason, the temple has been dated to be around 540 BC. The The temple was originally, or before that, there was a temple in the same spot that was created 7th century BC, but due to earthquakes, that one was destructed, so this temple was actually a replacement. The temple was first excavated in 1886 by a German archaeologist named Wilhelm Dorpfeld, who is this guy right here, spinning right there. Okay, the architecture of the Temple of Apollo in Corinth is a Doric perpetual temple, which means that it consists of a rectangular floor plan with a series of low steps on every side. You can kind of tell right there. And that's what the overall architecture, that was the plan right there. It is has 6 columns on the north and south side, and 15 columns on the 6 columns on the east and west side, and 15 columns on the north and south side, each being over 7 meters high with a base diameter of 1.7 meters. The stylobate, a continuous slab of material that supports all the columns, was 53.82 meters by 21.48 meters. And this one was actually the first stylobate that had a convex curve, meaning it kind of curved like that. And after this, that was a pretty common feature in architecture in Greece. The temple is characterized by monolithic columns, meaning the shafts within the columns are made from a single piece of a stone rather than sections. All these columns and all the other parts of the temple were made from limestone from a quarry that was pretty close to the temple itself. The temple includes a distyle and antis pronaos, which is right there, meaning a porch with 2 columns in between an ante, which are thickened terminations of the wall. Right here, you can see these marked A are the ante. It's a termination of a wall it's a little thicker. And the pronaos is this part inside that area, and there's 2 columns right there. It's a pretty common feature in Greek architecture. The temple also includes an opisthotomos. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's right there. A porch at the rear of a temple set against the blank wall of a cella, meaning there is no opening at the opisthotomos. So you can tell right here, it's this part where there's 2 columns and just a blank wall. The temple also included 2 cella chambers, which are chambers within the temple. Right here you can tell in the plan, one is smaller, one is a little larger. They each had interior columns, with the western cella having 4 interior columns and the eastern cella having 8 interior columns. And here you can see pictures of modern day. This is the plan from above, barely anything left, only 7 columns, which you can see these are the 7 columns that are left in dark blue right here. And that's a picture of those 7 columns that are left. And that is all. Thank you.